Okay, so the question is, why do we drop golf balls? Something I like to do is cut golf balls in half. As you can see, when you do that, you get to see all the different elements that are inside a golf ball and what makes them different. So like, for example, this new one from TaylorMade, the Soft Response, it has a thick outer core, okay? And then it's got the second core, which is fairly thick, and then it's got a large inner core. So that's your standard three-piece ball. That's what a three-piece ball would look like. This is a good example because each layer is fairly thick. And then the different thicknesses, you make these, and the different characteristics you use when constructing a golf ball will determine how it performs in flight, okay? So that's like a good TaylorMade example. Here's the TP 5X, and so you've got, this is a good one because it's got a super thin cover layer, okay? Then you've got a fairly thick secondary layer in gray there. Then you've got that black layer as the third layer. Then you got the white, like a fourth layer. So it's like really, this is a five-piece ball, okay? Because that top layer counts as something. So you can see the difference here between the TP5X and the Soft Response. The cover is super thick, whereas the cover on here is super thin. And that's the difference in those types of golf balls. Whereas, like, say, the Pro V1X has a little bit thicker of a cover, so it's got a pretty soft cover, and then it's got a super thin second core, which is that black or darkish color. Then it's got a thick blue, so that thicker blue core, and then a smaller core, right? Versus, you know, the core on here is, you can see the difference between the purple and the dark blue or gray color here. And all these things make each ball a little bit different. Some are very similar, some are very different, but that's why you gotta do a lot of testing to see which one performs best for you. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna hit these, and I'm gonna give you the numbers, kind of standard numbers, let's say with a wedge and a mid-iron and a driver, and we're gonna look at which ball would be best suited for which person. All right, so let's do that now. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to do our ball test. We're gonna hit pitching wedges, we'll do 6 irons, and then we'll do driver, and we're just looking at kind of average numbers for each different ball, and we'll hit about the same number of shots with each, ball and with each club that we use. And I'll give you all those numbers so that you can see kind of what we're dealing with in terms of ball. And then we'll just talk briefly about what would be best suited for whom, which ball would be best for whom. So then you can make your decision. And I think it'll be good. I won't make you watch every single shot I hit, but you get the idea of what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And I'll just go how I pull it out. Shrixon is up first. Okay, with the pitching wedge, there's a clear winner in my book for pitching wedges. So stay tuned. I'll reveal all that at the end of the video. But it's pretty obvious which ball performs the best for me in terms of the wedge. So we're gonna move on to the 6 iron, do the same thing, and then drive a lot of balls. I'm hitting 5 shots each club, 50 shots with the 6 iron, 50 shots with the pitching wedge, 50 shots with the driver. All right, we're good. Okay, that's everything. I sweated it. Okay, I gotta change my shirt, go over these numbers. Surprising stuff. For sure, think we have a winner though. I think we have a winning ball. We'll go over that, and then you can decide for yourself which is the right ball for you. Let's go. All right, let's break this down. Exciting day. Whew. I am spent. So in terms of wedges, let's look at some of the numbers, and we'll give you the data for what we have. The ball that spun the least, the lowest spinner in the wedge category was the Vice ball. It had an average spin rate of about 8,200. So in the wedge, I want a lot more spin on the wedge, not a lot less. So that wasn't very good. The highest spin rate I got among all the wedges, or all the balls with the wedge, was the Pro V1 regular, just Pro V1 at 9,100 spin rate. And you can see kind of the difference in how the ball is constructed. High spin rate, low spin rate. And that was that. Everything else was a little bit different in their spin rate. All performed fairly well. However, if we looked at the velocity, I felt like that went really high and didn't really go as far. And you could see my average carry was like 110 with the velocity ball. So in terms of distance, that really wasn't getting where I wanted it to go. So that was just kind of something I noticed. And dispersion-wise and consistency, there was one ball in the wedge category that really stood out among the rest, and that was the Bridgestone Tour BX in the wedge category, okay? So that's the winner in the wedge game, would be that guy, the Bridgestone Tour BX. Okay, so in terms of the 6-iron, how did that look? Well, if you want distance, the one that went the farthest on average was, interestingly, the worst wedge performer, which would be the Titleist Velocity. So that one had, average carry distance of 180 with the 6-iron. So very, very long flying ball, lower spin, 4,600 average spin rate with the Velocity. And another one that performed very well with the 6-iron, also a little more spin than that, but had an average carry distance of 176, was the Maxfly Tour CG. So that one also performed very well. And interestingly, the Srixon actually really performed well with the 6-iron also. So those are distance. Those are getting me good distance numbers. And if you want distance with those mid-irons, then the Velocity is probably the way to go. It just kind of went pretty far. But if you want a little more distance and performance, I'd go with the Maxfly Tour CG for that. But the one that performed the best in terms of accuracy and consistency for me was the Titleist Pro V1X. So again, you've got to decide what you want. If you're looking for more distance, then it's something else. If you want a little more accuracy, then again, it's something else there. So a lot of good numbers with the 6-iron. I would say the one that performed the worst with the 6-iron, unfortunately, was the TaylorMade Soft Response. That thing, I just was super inconsistent with it. It kind of went everywhere. And my carry was among the lowest at 162 average carry distance. And it had a lot of spin too, so I'm just guessing it was spinning a lot. So if you have a slower swing speed, however, something like this might work for you because it'll generate more spin, get that ball going a little farther for you. Or if you just don't spin the ball a lot, that might be something to consider to get more spin with your mid-iron. So, but for me, it didn't perform well at all. Now, how about the driver? So driver was very, very interesting with the numbers, okay? So the highest spinning ball in my test was the TaylorMade, what is this? Yeah, the TP5X. That was the highest spinning. Performed pretty well, but it was one of the highest spinning balls. The lowest spinning ball of all with the driver was the Vice. And I was actually incredibly accurate with the Vice. It was shocking. And I've always said it was a good ball. I bash on it a little bit because, look, here's one of the balls from the tests. The maximum times I could have hit one ball would have been 9 shots. And it's already got a scuff mark on it. I don't know if you can see that. Right there. So that's my problem with the Vice, is that they just scuff up and they get destroyed pretty easily. And all it hit was the club and the net. That was it. So imagine if you hit a cart path or, I don't know, the ground. That's the problem. Or roll, like, they just get ruined so fast. And they're not as cheap as they appear to be, unfortunately. It was like $34 for a dozen. Like I said, if you want to save money on a ball, go with this one, because last I checked, if you get 2 dozen, they're $25 per dozen. And they're really great balls. So actually, for the price, the Maxfly Tour GCs are probably the best for the money. The one that performed the best in my driver testing for me, believe it or not, for the driver was the Chrome Soft. Actually performed really well, most accurate, most carry distance, best numbers. So very, very well. The one that I used, the Pro V1X, also did very well, but I hit a couple bad shots with it. So I kind of choked a little bit in the testing with the ball that I use. That happens. What are you going to do? But that's what happened. So it didn't perform as good as some of the others in this test. However, which ball am I going to use? I think for me, the 2 that performed the best for me in my testing were the Bridgestone. I haven't used that much, so I might test it out a little bit more. That performed really well, so that's up on my list. And the Pro V1X for me performed really well, so the numbers were really good for me. So I don't think I'm going to change balls from what I can normally use, but that's what happened in this test. And I hope you had a great time with the video, looking at the numbers, and maybe it shed some light on what you're looking for. And I think depending on the type of player you are, the best thing to do is do a test, get 10 different types of balls and mess around and see which ones perform best for you. But looking at the numbers I've given you, you should be able to pick a ball that's going to best suit your game. So that's the little testing, giving you some numbers to consider when you are determining what ball you're going to put in play. They're very different. They all perform very differently, and not one ball is best in every single category. You can see there's not one that won every time. It's kind of something different. So depending on what you're looking for in your game or what your needs are, you have a lot of different choices to choose from. So hope this video was entertaining. Love you guys. I will see you in the next video.